Welcome to our journey through the book of Habakkuk. As we dive into chapter 2 and verse 3, I want to encourage you to approach this scripture with an open heart and mind. For those who may be new to studying the Bible or are unfamiliar with the prophet Habakkuk, let's take a moment to set the context. The book of Habakkuk is a prophetic text that offers guidance and encouragement during times of uncertainty. As we explore Habakkuk 2:3, we'll discover how this verse speaks directly to our own experiences with trials and hardships. Scripture reminds us that God is always working, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. The key phrase, "a bitter end," might be exactly what comes to mind when facing difficulties. But Habakkuk 2:3 offers a different perspective. It tells us that we can trust in the Lord's justice and righteousness, no matter how dark things may seem. Throughout this section, we'll examine the nuances of Habakkuk's words and explore how they relate to our own lives today. Whether you're facing a personal struggle or simply need reminders of God's love and presence, I invite you to join me on this journey into Habakkuk 2:3. Biblical context and key passages. The phrase, "Do not be afraid," is a recurring theme throughout the Bible, appearing in various forms across different books. In Habakkuk 2:3, we find one of these instances, which offers valuable insights into God's nature and our responses to challenges. One notable example of this encouragement can be found in Isaiah 41:10, where God assures us that He will strengthen and help us, saying, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be frightened, for I am your God." This verse demonstrates the Lord's commitment to being present in our lives, even when we face uncertainty or hardship. Similarly, in Psalm 23:4, David writes, "Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff comfort me." This passage reminds us that God's presence can be a source of peace and courage in difficult times. The appearance of "do not be afraid" in Habakkuk 2:3 is significant because it serves as a reminder that we can trust in the Lord's justice and righteousness, even when things seem bleak. By understanding this phrase within its biblical context, we can gain a deeper appreciation for God's character and our place in His plan. Here are a few key passages that illustrate the importance of trusting in God's goodness. Isaiah 12:2, "Surely God is my salvation. I will trust and not be afraid. The Lord Himself, is my strength and my song." Psalm 56:3-4, "When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. In God, whose word I praise, in God I trust. I will not fear. What can mere mortals do to me?" Meaning and key themes. Habakkuk 2:3 offers a profound message about the nature of trials and hardships. The verse reads, "For the vision is yet for an appointed time. It hasteth speedily and will not tarry." This passage may seem complex at first glance, but when broken down, we find that it's actually encouraging us to trust in God's timing. One way to understand this concept is by considering the phrase, "appointed time." In essence, this term suggests that God has a specific plan and schedule for our lives. While we may not always see what's coming or when challenges will arise, we can have faith that He is working according to His own timeline. This idea of trust in God's timing is closely tied to the concept of His sovereignty. When faced with difficult circumstances, it's easy to become anxious or fearful. But Habakkuk 2:3 reminds us that God is always working, even when we can't see what's happening behind the scenes. In a world where instant gratification seems like the norm, it's essential to remember that patience and trust are crucial components of our faith. By choosing to believe in God's goodness and timing, we can find peace and contentment even in the midst of trials. So, what does it mean to trust in the Lord's justice and righteousness? This phrase is more than just an abstract concept. It's a call to action that reminds us of our responsibility as followers of God. When we trust in his justice and righteousness, we're acknowledging that he is a God of perfect love and mercy. This theme of trust is closely related to the idea of faith. When we put our trust in God, we're demonstrating our faith in his goodness, even when we can't see what's happening or when things seem uncertain. Here are some key takeaways from Habakkuk 2:3. We can trust in the Lord's justice and righteousness because he is a God of perfect love and mercy. God has an appointed time for everything, including trials and hardships. When faced with uncertainty or fear, we can choose to trust in God's goodness and timing. Practical application today. So, how can we apply the message of Habakkuk 2:3 to our lives today? One practical way is by cultivating patience and trust in God's sovereignty. When faced with challenges or difficulties, take a step back and remember that God has an appointed time for everything. This might involve letting go of our need for control or understanding the why behind difficult situations. By choosing to trust in God's goodness and timing, we can find peace and contentment, even in the midst of trials. Another way to apply this verse is by focusing on the character of God rather than our circumstances. When we trust in his justice and righteousness, we're reminded that he is a God of perfect love and mercy. This focus on God's character can help us navigate difficult times with greater ease and faith. By choosing to trust in him, we can find strength and courage even in the midst of uncertainty or fear. Conclusion. In conclusion, Habakkuk 2:3 offers a profound message about trusting in God's timing and justice. By understanding this verse within its biblical context, we can gain a deeper appreciation for God's character and our place in his plan. As we navigate the complexities of life, it's essential to remember that God has an appointed time for everything. Whether we're facing trials or hardships, we can trust in his goodness and sovereignty. So what does it mean to trust in the Lord's justice and righteousness? It means acknowledging that he is a God of perfect love and mercy. When we put our trust in him, we're demonstrating our faith in his goodness, even when things seem uncertain. As followers of Christ, we have the privilege of living out this trust in practical ways. By cultivating patience and trusting in God's sovereignty, we can find peace and contentment, even in the midst of trials.